Hey YouTube, welcome to Money Mondays. Today's video we're going to cover 5 things I agree with Dave Ramsey. But before we do that, I gotta dig a trench to a sauna where we're going to discuss this. Okay guys, if you thought that was fast, you should see Babushka do it. Alright, so for those of you that haven't seen my other videos on the first steps you should take before investing into real estate, I had a video about how I recommend this book to everybody who's starting out. Dave Ramsey is a great resource for getting your personal finances in order, and that's critical before you dive into any type of investing. So this video is going to be about 5 things that I agree with Dave Ramsey. Have a budget, and having a budget is critical. If you notice, any successful companies in the world, they all have financial budgets. Where are they spending the money? How much money is coming in? It's critical to have a budget in order to have any idea of your finances and where you are today and where you want to be. So before you figure out how to get from point A to point B, you got to figure out where you're at point A. The second thing that I agree with Dave Ramsey is have an emergency fund. Now he starts out in the book saying that the first thing you got to do is work as much as you can, pick up some extra hours, maybe overtime, maybe pick up a second job on the weekend or nights. Save up $1,000 as your first emergency fund. Now get this, half of Americans are only $1,000 away from being wiped out financially. That means half of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency. So it's critical to get yourself to that point. Now once we pay off our debts, we're going to grow that emergency fund to 3 to 6 months. So a good starting point would be to target, let's say, $10,000 or $15,000 or maybe even $20,000, $25,000. The third thing that I agree with Dave Ramsey is paying off debt. Paying off debt is critical in building your financial future. That means paying off those high interest credit cards, paying off that car loan, paying off those student loans. Did you know that the average APR on a credit card is 20%? That's right. So if you carry a $1,000 balance on a credit card a year, you're spending $200 in interest. An average American actually has $6,000 in debt. So run those numbers. So that would be $1,200 a year Americans spend on interest to the credit cards alone. That's crazy. No wonder why we can't become financially independent. You also want to target your student loans. Having a college education is great, but carrying those student loans for decades after your graduation can be a huge burden on you financially. So create a plan how to pay those off as soon as you can. And also car loans. A lot of times you can end up upside down on your car, meaning that if you finance a car for say 6-7 years and it's $30,000 car, well, 4 years into it, let's say you get into a car accident and now your car is worth say $15,000 but you still owe 20 grand on it. You can be actually upside down on a car and owe $5,000 to the bank. The fifth thing that I agree with Dave Ramsey is investing into a retirement fund. Now, the way the Dave Ramsey program works is once you pay off those credit cards, once you pay off all your student loans and any personal debt, then you want to start investing. He recommends investing at least 15%, and then the rest of the money you're going to use towards your mortgage. Now, we're going to cover some of that in the next video next week on some things that I disagree with this strategy, but I do agree with him that you have to invest into retirement. That means investing as young as you can. So if you are in your 20s today, you want to start investing. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it's a lot more important to start investing a little bit in your 20s than not investing at all, and then you end up investing a lot more into your 30s in order to catch up. So let's break that down a little bit here. Okay, so I want to show you the importance of investing early in your lifetime. Now the type of investment we're talking about is investing into the stock market, and this would be like a mutual fund, total index of the stock market. And if you look at historical performance of the stock market, on average it performs around 8%. So that means some years it might be low, some years it might be down negative, but as long as the stock market has been open, it has an average return of 8%, and that's with inflation built in. And we want to target at retirement to have $1 million. Now $1 million might sound like a lot of money, but in reality it's not a lot of money. If you think about it, at 65 years old, let's say you plan to live till 85 or 90 years old, you still have 20 to 25 years of expenditures to cover. If you think about it, we work all our life and we get to our golden years and then we have nothing to show for it. And then we're either reliant on our family members or we rely on the government. But in reality, everybody can do this. Say you are 20 years old today. For you to get to $1 million at 65 years old, you have to set aside $207 per month, and that's going to be for the next 45 years. So throughout the 45 years of setting that money aside, you are going to put in only $111,000 of your own money. That means through your lifetime, that money is going to compound and it's going to grow from 0 to $1 million. That's almost a tenfold. Now let's say you're 30 years old. Well, at 30 years old, for you to achieve that same $1 million at 65, now you only have 35 years left of investing. So you actually have to set aside $467 per month. And over your investing period of 35 years, you're going to be setting aside $196,000 of your own money. Let's say you are 40 years old. You have to set aside $1,100 a month, and you're going to put in $330,000 of your own money. So you can kind of see, like, this is almost tenfold, this is fivefold, and this is threefold. So if you multiply this, you get to $1 million. You multiply this by 5, you get to $1 million. You multiply this by 10, you get to $1 million. Now, if you are 50 years old, you only have 15 years left to invest. At 50 years old, you have to set aside $2,950 per month for the next 50 years, and you're gonna put in $531,000 of your own money to get to $1 million. And this is what I mean. It is crucial for you to start as young as you can. So if you are in your 20s today, and let's say you can't afford $207 a month, put in what you can. Fifth thing that I agree with Dave Ramsey is giving. It's important to give along the way. It means to bless others, help people financially, to help people with education. And it could be as simple as gifting this book on Christmas. These are the 5 things that I agree with Dave Ramsey. If you like this video, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe. Next Monday, I'm going to cover 5 things that I disagree with Dave Ramsey.